What's for dinner? How many times a week do you hear that in your house? All right, so how about a meat and potatoes night? So off to the store you go. Now, those stores carry the usual, a London broil, maybe a sirloin, but there are a lot of other tasty cuts out there if you're willing to look for them. To find out, we turn to Dale McCusker of Allegheny Meats in Highland County.
There's a lot of the product that goes into grocery stores and supermarkets and things. It's boxed beef from, it's handled out west. They just taken the boneless sections of it, and this goes into boxes and, more or less just gets thrown into the meat case. Here we do carcass beef. It's a bone-in whole sides of beef.
This guy knows his beef.
This is the side of a carcass beef. It gets broke between the 5th and 6th rib. This section is considered the chuck section, or the front. It'll be broke again, 7 ribs, which would be the 7 ribeye section. And then it'll be broke again on the loin, which would be the whole loin section, which would be include the sirloin, the New York strip fillet, or the T-bone.
Allegheny Meats is a state-of-the-art USDA-inspected meat processing facility. Farmers can bring their livestock to be processed here to the highest standards and sell their product directly to the public. It's all part of the growing trend around the state and the country, where people are more food conscious. They want to know where their food comes from and what goes into it, whether it's grass-fed or grain-fed beef, or cage-free eggs, or organically grown vegetables. Consumers are looking locally for answers.
University of Kansas and some of the other universities out west that study meat science, they've taken the muscle groups and separated them. Found that just so much as the angle in which you cut it on the grain of the muscle makes it tender or not. You can actually take a tougher piece of meat. By changing the direction of the way we normally cut it, it made it more tender.
So how does this information help us in the grocery store? McCusker says knowing what parts of the animal the beef cuts come from helps the shopper make better choices and hopefully avoid a tough steak.
The different muscle groups, some are going to be more tender than others, such as like the round steaks. It's the muscle from the leg. It's used constantly. The chuck steaks, they're the stronger parts of the animal, versus the loin section, which is not used that much, would be more tender, like the pork chop or the New York strip or fillet.
A couple of other new tender choices are the hanger steak or the ribeye cap. Or how about a nice skirt steak or a spider steak? You might have to look a little further than your local supermarket to find some of these, but Dale says it'll be worth it. And as far as his favorite?
The ribeye. And you'll find that most cutters, it's going to be their favorite. Even though, say, a filet mignon or a New York strip might be more expensive in most cases, but let's get to the grainy, the fattier portion. The mixture was not quite as dry. I believe in leaving the bone in whenever possible for myself, but it's a personal preference.
Beef cattle is the second most important economic sector of Virginia's farm economy, generating about $330 million in income for farmers each year. Cattle are raised in every part of the state. We all don't live in Highland County, where Allegheny Meats operates, but if you do some searching or visit your local farmer's market, you might just find some of these locally grown delicacies. Reporting from Highland County, Virginia, I'm Patrick Dunn.